Hello, I'm Gary. Welcome back to FYPC. It's my channel about my prostate cancer experience. Today I want to tell you about the transperineal biopsy that I had. Sounds awful, but it's not. So let's dive in and find out what that's about. So let's have a look at the transperineal biopsy that I had. Word of warning, just be careful where you look on the internet beforehand, because you will find some quite graphic videos about this particular procedure. They're not always fully in context, and it can make it look very painful. But I want to reassure you from the outset that for me personally, this was a painless procedure. Go into the hospital. Get yourself into the hospital gown, go into the room, lie back on the bed. You've got your feet in the air, in the stirrups, so that it's a pretty dignity-free procedure. I've had an antibiotic tablet because one of the risks of this procedure is a minor infection, so they protect against that with this preventative antibiotic. And then the doctor says, well, no, we're going to clean the area down, and then we're going to give you an injection of local anaesthetic. Now I do understand that in some places you can have a general anaesthetic for this. I'm not sure what would trigger that, but for me the only choice was local anaesthetic. So I'm a bit nervous at this point. You know, I've heard a lot about it. I've watched a few silly videos that really have raised my anxiety level. But the doctor says we're just going to inject the local anaesthetic. So that needle goes into the perineum, that nice sensitive bit of skin between your bum and your testicles. And to be honest, I've got to say it was no worse than any other injection I'd had in any other part of the body. Just a very sharp scratch, and then you feel that local anaesthetic kind of moving out into the area. So they leave it for a few minutes for this to take full effect, and then they insert the needle through the perineum into the prostate. Now at this point I can feel the sort of pushing and pulling against the skin, and I can feel the needle travel, but there's no pain at all at this point. Once the needle's into the prostate, it's the same kind of procedure as the previous biopsy. So there's a clicking and a flicking kind of sound as the needle takes the tissue sample, and that is repeated a dozen or so times. Oh, I should mention the fact as well that there is a ultrasound probe inserted in the back passage so that the doctor gets a picture of the prostate and can guide the needle in. So you've got that going on as well. So this is, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. I've got the nurse, we're talking about the weather and holidays and things like that. Very good distraction technique from the team. And these samples get taken. I can't remember exactly how many there were, but 20 minutes, half an hour. So then there's a bit of cleaning up because there is a bit of blood. There's been a needle stuck in that part of the body, and you're told to wait at the hospital until you've passed water. So I was aware of this from the first biopsy, so I'd been drinking a little bit of water beforehand to make sure that that was fairly immediate. That can be quite alarming. It was quite alarming for both of the biopsies for me. Kind of chunks of blood, very pink urine, bits coming out, because they've been jabbing in and around the urethra where the urine passes through. So a little bit alarming to start with, but that passes after 3 or 4 days for me. After that period of time, the urine was completely normal. And once that urine is passed in the hospital, then you're free to go. And because it's local, then there's no limits on whether you can drive or not. So that's the transperineal biopsy. For me personally, an uncomfortable but painless procedure. And I'll tell you about the results in another video on the channel. One of the things I'd love you to do is to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. The only reason I'm doing this is to spread the message, tell people about what my prostate cancer journey has been like, and hopefully as a result of that, demystify it for other people. I was absolutely over the moon this week when a couple of people contacted me to say they'd watched the video and it's prompted them to go to the doctor and request a PSA test. Because they felt like they were in one of the risk groups. So that's what I really want this channel to do, and I need your help to do that. So please subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you next time when we'll be talking about the nuclear medicine bone scan.